we are back with the second game of the Final Fantasy series, Final Fantasy II. Continuing our Through the Ages event where I'm playing through every single Final Fantasy mainline entry, followed by spin-offs and then remakes. So here we go, starting with, continuing with Final Fantasy II, which unfortunately I'm not as familiar with it as others. Like most people, I didn't play it for the first time until it came to America in the Final Fantasy Origins on PS1. So I think I was about 2002, maybe 2003 that came out. And this game is very polarizing. Either you like it or you absolutely hate it. And by like it, I mean you tolerate it. It's got a decent story, but what people don't like is the system. And you'll see once we get into the actual game, it is a completely different RPG system. You don't gain levels in this game. You gain skills. If you take a hit, you can increase your defense stat and your HP stat. If you cast magic, you can increase your magic and NP as well as a spell level. If you attack someone, you can increase your attack and accuracy and so forth. How you play your characters is how they advance. And some people just didn't really like that. I felt it was a little bit more like realistic, and maybe people just weren't ready for something like that, because years later the Elder Scrolls did the exact same thing and people love that system. So I think this game was just a little bit before its time. But again, as you can see, just like the first one, it starts us off with our four characters, and since these ones are story specific characters, I'm not going to change their names like I did in the first one. The first one, they were no names, so I'll keep these guys with their standard name with Furion, Maria, Guy, and Leon. And we'll click done and start our game. A long-lived peace. Is at an end. The Emperor of Palamecian has called forth monsters from the underworld and has begun his campaign for world conquest. A rebel army arose in the kingdom of Fynn to thwart the Emperor's efforts. But the rebels' castle fell to an all-out assault by the Empire. Text is going very fast. Left with little choice, the rebels withdrew to the remote town of Altair. 4 youths from Fynn also found themselves fleeing the Imperial forces. They had lost their parents at the hand of the Empire, but their escape wasn't over. And we started the game with a battle! Miss. Damn. Miss. Damn. Miss. Damn. Miss. What the fuck? Dead. Dead. 666. Yeah, they start you with an unwinnable battle. Will he live? He will. I sense a strong life force within him. Meanwhile, we pulled his card. He should regain consciousness soon. We found them like this on the escape from Fynn, fallen from terrible wounds. By the time we brought them here, I feared it was already too late. His life is not in danger. This sigil will strengthen his life force. We should let him rest now. Of course. We'd best be off to the meeting. I imagine they are already waiting for us. If the Empire is allowed to complete the dreadnought they're building in Bask, their attack will begin in earnest. We cannot sit idly by and watch. We must act. Where am I? Leon. Maria. Guy. Where are you? Firion, you're alive. I thought you'd... I'm fine, Maria. You seem alright too, Guy, but wait. Where's Leon? Princess Finn saved us, but Leon not here. I see. Don't worry, I'm sure he's okay. And this is all self-guided right now. This is the first game in the series to have actual story content. So, you've regained your strength. Very good. Your life force is strong indeed. It was you who saved us, wasn't it? Thank you. Forgive me, Your Highness, but there is something I must ask of you. Please, let us join the rebel army. I could never allow such a thing. You know nothing of battle. You would only be throwing your lives away. You should return to your homes. But we have no homes. Not anymore. The Imperials attacked and our parents... I am truly sorry, but that changes nothing. I cannot permit you to join our army. If you've nowhere else to go, you're welcome to stay here in Altair. If you know our password, you should be able to live here well enough. The password is Wild Rose. Remember it well. This game has a password system, which is a way to get information, and it's kind of a way to activate triggers without actually having behind the scenes triggers. If you know anything about video game development and, you know, and/ors and any kind of coding and whatnot, there's always some kind of trigger, variables, stuff like that. These are just ways to keep, like, I guess, minimizing behind the scenes stuff. Learn Wild Rose. Ask Wild Rose. The Wild Rose is the insignia of the Kingdom of Finn. It represents our hope for a flourishing future of strength and beauty. What will become of Finn now? I've heard that the Empire's captives suffer there in confinement even as we speak. Maria, your brother Leon is missing, is he not? It's possible that he's being held in Finn as well. But Finn is far too dangerous to travel to now. The Emperor's beasts still stalk the streets. Gaining interest in the city will not be easy. The man at my right is Minwu, the white wizard who tends your wounds. Speak with him before you leave. He may be of some assistance. Alright, and so we still have access to the map. Pause menu. There we go. Okay, so many things that they've added to this game, the first game. Well, yes, the first game did have a story. It was very bare bones. Save the princess, set off to recover or to revive the crystals, defeat the evil, bish bosh, you're done. You know, there's a granted, very iconic, but still very basic. This one itself has a full-on, you know, script and what were considered cutscenes back then, were, you know, automatic, like, character interactions and movement and whatnot, but also a revamped party system. We have, just as before, we had the magic system and equipment, all pretty much the same. What we have now is formation, and we can move people to in the front or to the back. People in the front take normal damage when hit, and also deal normal melee damage. People in the back take less damage when hit, but do less melee damage. However, if they are a spellcaster or a ranged weapon user, there is no ranged penalty. And then here you can learn, keep track of your passwords. And everything else is pretty much exactly the same, except for the way you level up. Also notice there's no levels for characters, and everyone is, for the most part, pretty much exactly the same. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk to Min. I see your destiny clearly. The future it holds seems closely entwined with my own. You will begin your journey to Finn. That is the first step towards realizing your fate. Oh, there. You've wasted no time using the password. Heed well the information it will bring you. You can learn much of value by listening. I offer you one more bit of advice before you depart to Finn. Those who have fallen in battle can be revived at a sanctuary. Should one of you fall before you reach Finn, go without hesitation to the nearest sanctuary. And then you can talk to some other NPCs. The port of Paloom lies not far to the east of here, but a lake separates us, so you won't be able to reach a town without a canoe. Heading to Finn, are we? It's not my place to tell you what to do, but I'd reconsider if I were you. It's a dangerous place to be, you see. The city is crawling with the Empire's monsters. To the north lies a small village called Gatrea. Judging by the look of you, you'd be lucky to make it that far. Before you go anywhere, I suggest you visit the room with the sigil that saved your life. There you'll find people who can teach you a thing or two about adventuring. I think you're going to need all the advice that they can spare. And we are going to go ahead and go do just that. And I believe these people are just a series of tutorials. Chess. No, don't need to know about Flea. So let's go ahead and read a little bit on this. Skill levels can be divided into two broad categories: weapon skill levels and magic skill levels. But wait, there's more. Weapon skill levels are often divided by weapon type, such as swords and axes. Similarly, magic skill levels are divided by spell. Spells like Cure and Fire each have their own skill level. Attacking with a given type of weapon improves the corresponding weapon skill. As your skill levels rise, your attack and accuracy with those types of weapons will likely improve. Casting a given spell improves the corresponding magic skill. Spells become more powerful and effective as their skill levels rise. Nope. Pretty much already explained all that, and all that stuff is pretty basic. Our first chest gives us a potion. Gordon, the Prince of Kashuan, is hiding out here in Altair. I don't know what happened, but something has made him lose faith in himself. Princess Hilda fled here when Finn was sacked. She's doing a remarkable job of leading the rebel army while His Majesty recovers. Looks like that is the only chest. And now here is the town of Altair. And as you can see, we have our standard shops. We have an inn, item shop, magic shop, weapon shop, and armor shop. And that one up in the top right, even though it is not marked, I believe that is the sanctuary of this town. So we are going to actually start with going to the armor shop. We are going to purchase I think a leather cap for each, and then we have enough for leather gloves for each. And then you know what? Oh, he already had a. Oh. I completely forgot about that. You can actually dual wield weapons. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to equip him with a buckler instead. Okay. So bow requires 2 hands. And then we will go ahead and check out the weapon shop. I don't think I have enough to actually purchase anything. No, I do, but nothing worthwhile really at this point. And then we will go check out the magic shop to see what they have, just so we know how much money we're going to need. So, yeah, okay, definitely. But we are definitely going to want to buy all of these spells for everybody. Even though I will probably have dedicated casters, at the very least, I want everybody to have access to all spells. Oh, that gives me enough to buy a cure tome. And then, like, one, you actually have to use it. And yeah, I know it's stereotypical, but I'm going to start her off with being my first healer. Alright, so here is the skill screen. On the right side, that is all of your weapon skills. It's like, as you can see, there's actually a skill for Buckler, which is why I opted not to have 2 swords equipped on him. But as you use these various weapon types, those skills will level up. It would be nice to be able to have everybody maxed out with everything, but that's just going to take forever. So I will ultimately start to like specialize in specific weapons. Like for him, I would probably do sword and shield to start off with, and then maybe switch into an axe. With Maria, I will probably do bows and staves. With Guy, I will probably do axe and shield, and then a spear. And then for a 4th party member, I will probably do dual axes or dual daggers, and then unhanded or unequipped or just bare hands. So I don't know. We'll see how things go. And then Maria, now that she has a spell, as she uses it, this will actually level up. We're not really going to do that right now because there's no need to. And I don't know if it would even allow you to. And then if this is, yep, this would be saying this is where you would resurrect party members if you don't have the life spell. And there's items. Do they all sell this? No, they do not sell the same thing. $50,000. This is the only game I've ever seen where you can actually buy elixirs. 50,000. But that is pretty much all that we can do here for now. Our goal is to head to Finn. However, I'm probably gonna run around and do a few battles. Now, I'm not gonna do it in the event that it carried over, but in the original, if you walked around the very tip of this, you could fight some very high level enemies. And if you could survive, you would actually get very, very good skill increases. So we'll go through this battle and we will see what kind of... Wow, lots of misses. You know, very, very weak enemies. Alright. So there we go. Pretty much all of our weapons went up by 1 level. And then other stats based on what we did. Stamina, strength, HP. Strength and evasion, and then him just evasion. Now, and that gave her a little bit of healing XP. So we're just gonna run around in this area and do a bit of skill grinding, or yeah, just a little bit of grinding just to kind of build up a little bit. It also gives at the item breakdown, it gives you items per enemy instead of just all at once. Oh, that guy was easy. So, oh hey, look at the airship. One thing I did want to see. Yeah, okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run around out here and get some skills, but mostly just get enough money to go out and buy those spells for everybody. And then maybe buy a few additional weapon types just to kind of experiment a bit. And then I will be back.